Hi there everybody, it's UK independent Stampin' Up demonstrator Helzie here from SlimmandStylish.stampinup.net. Thank you ever so much for joining me today. Today I am watercolouring a slimline card. So this is the one that I have done using the Flowers of Friendship stamp set. I have used two different colours on this because I am enjoying the brights at the moment, and I have gone with Magenta Madness and Granny Apple Green. And they proper shout at you, don't they? So this is the card I've made, and I'm going to show you how to do it. It's really quick and really simple to do. So first of all, you're going to want a base piece of cardstock for your slimline card. So what I do is I get a piece of A4 card, cut it in half, and then score it at 7.4, which is in half, and you get your slimline card. I then take a piece of cardstock for the mat. So this is our shimmery white, because I'm going to be watercolouring, and shimmery white is a lot better to watercolour on. And I am just going to pop that on top. This is 6.9 centimetres by 20.5 centimetres. It's half a centimetre less than the base of my cardstock. Okay, because I'm going to be using watercolour, I'm going to be using StazOn ink for this. And I already have the larger stamp all set up in the Stamparatus, ready to go to save time for us. Okay, so you want to pop your stamp onto your Stamparatus and line it up where you want it on the paper. Now, I decided that I didn't want it at the top and I didn't want it directly at the bottom, but I did want it in the bottom half. So it's sort of like there's a half and the majority of it's the bottom, but it doesn't go all the way, so it allows for the ribbon. Okay, so just double check I'm in the right place. There we go. So you want to use the StazOn, and when you put it on you want to twist as well. Okay, so you don't normally do that with Memento, but for StazOn you definitely want to twist as you put it on. It just makes sure the ink gets on there, and then you just want to stamp it down. I'm using my Stamparatus because it's a bigger stamp, and therefore if I don't ink the whole thing up right, or I'm not happy with it, I can go again. I'm going to go again just because I'm watercolouring and I want it to be a crisp, dark image that I'm going to be watercolouring. There we go. Happy with that. So let's just move that out. And now I'm ready to start colouring in. So I want my two inks. So I've got my Magenta Madness and my Granny Apple Green. I've also got a block each to put the ink on. If you have the reinker, like I've got the Granny Apple Green reinker here, you can use that to put the ink on the block, which I will show you, or you can use the ink pad, okay? And I'm going to be using the medium watercolour pencil for this, sorry, aqua marker, water marker. Okay, I've also got my chamois just to the side of me because that's really handy to have when you're watercolouring. So first of all, I'm going to start with the Granny Apple Green to show you how you can do it using the reinker, because I've used it a lot using the pads and the blocks, so I'm going to show you with the reinker. So you just pop a little bit of ink on the centre of your block, not much, you only want a little bit. You push where it says push on the side, get a good chunk of water going in there, mix it together, and there you go. There's your watercolour, ready to put on. Really clear, really easy, very simple. Okay, now for this, you'll notice I've coloured this one in the line and this one outside the line, so it's up to you which way you want to do it. For this card, I'm going outside the line. So I'm just going to expand on that. Okay, so it's generally quite easy. If you try to go in the line and then on one of them you mess up and go outside, you can actually go back and go round all of it. It won't tattle on you, and it will make it look like that's what you expected to do in the first place. With this one, I decided to go outside the line because I like messy watercolouring, but also because I wanted to get the stem of the flower, and the stem is just a single line, so I'm going to have to go outside the line anyway to get the stem, like that. So then I just decided that if I'm going to do that on the stem, I might as well do it on the leaves as well. Okay, once you've done that, you can wipe off your marker onto your chamois. Make sure it's back clean and ready to go on to the next colour. Okay, if you haven't got the reinker, and I actually do have the reinker for this one. I don't have all the reinkers, but I do have the reinker for Melon Mambo, so I could have actually used the reinker again. But just to show you, if you don't have the reinker, you can drop a block into the ink, and that pulls out the ink as well. So for this, you just drop your water in, and you can mix yourself a little pool all together, and off you go. Now, what I will also give you a hint on with this is how you can get different colours. The more water you put into here, the more watery it will be. Okay, so you'll notice that it's getting more and more watery as we're going along, and a lighter colour. Okay, just keep popping more on to get it all the same. But what you can do is you can use the lighter colour on these petals like this, and then you can go around the outside where there's not as much water, pull that colour up, and you can put it on the petals there to get yourself some shading. Okay. Once you've finished that, you've got your flowers already done. So I'm just going to wipe my aqua painter off again onto my chamois by the side, because if you leave especially the pinks and the reds on your watercolour marker for longer than you should, it's really easy to stain, and then they are, trust me, they are a pain to get out. So you're better cleaning your watercolour marker while you have the option to. Okay. Pop the lid on that, and I'm just going to put that to the side and leave it to dry, because it's obviously got a bit of watercolour on it, so I'm just going to leave it to dry over there. While I'm doing that, I'm going to do the heat embossing. So I have used this sentiment here, little card, big thanks. So I need my piece of scrap basic black, my embossing buddy, my Versamark, and then I need a piece of scrap card to tip the excess powder onto, and my white embossing powder. That back in the pot. Okay, and there we go. So I'm just going to heat emboss that while we're waiting. Now I'm glad I've done that so I can show you. I've just done a mistake. Can you see? I got the edge of my, and you can see here I've got it now stuck on the edge. I got my edge of my heat gun too close to the card, and I caught the embossing powder on the end. When it's hot, it's tacky, so it's obviously stuck to it. So I'm just going to redo that again. I wasn't really glad I did it, but at least I can sort of explain to you what's happened, and then if it ever happens to you, you know what you've done if it ever skags as you go through. Same as when you've just finished heat embossing it, don't put your hands on it to check if it's done, because you're going to do the exact same as what the tip of my heat embossing tool did. Okay, so this time lucky. Well off the card. Okay, just going to put this powder back in here. And then I'm going to use the double oval punch to punch this out. So this has the 2 ovals on. I'm using the scalloped oval at the top. Okay, move the Versamark, move the stamp. I'm now going to pop this onto my card base, but before I do, I want to use the black gingham ribbon. Okay, so this is just going to be slightly bigger than the card base. Some snips. Okay, and then I can pop some adhesive on the ribbon. 1, 2, and wrap it around the card wherever I want it, which is just underneath my flower, like that. I can then take the gingham ribbon and make myself a teeny tiny bow. Like that, and chop. There we go. Use a glue dot to adhere that onto the card. And then you can stick this down onto your card base. If you've watched my watercolour cards before, you know that I like adhering these to the card base with Tombow, and I will actually show you on this video the reason why. When you use watercolour and the water soaks the paper slightly warps. Not massively noticeable, but it does warp. By sticking it using the liquid glue onto the card base, you stick it all down, so that's going to be well and truly stuck. So as it dries, it's not going to dry in a different shape. I was lazy with this one and I used my tape runner, and as you can see, it started to lift from the card, and that's why I like using Tombow as opposed to tape runner when I've used watercolours. Okay, to finish the card up, I'm going to pop a couple of dimensionals on the back here. Rest this with the slight edge over so that I can turn it upside down. Chop that in line with the card, and it just sort of creates that off the card sentiment. To finish it up, I have got my 2022 in colour rhinestones. I am just going to grab a couple of those to add on to the card, and it is in Magenta Madness, so it's the exact right colour. So I'm going to pop 3 of the big ones down here in a line. 1, 2, 3, and then one of the small ones I'm going to put diagonally just at the top there. And that is my Slimline watercolour card using the Flowers of Friendship stamp set. Everything I've used today is available from SlimmandStylish.stampinup.net. Thank you ever so much for joining me, and I will see you again soon. Bye everyone. I hope you've enjoyed today's project. All items that I have used on this video are available to purchase from my store, www.SlimmandStylish.stampinup.net. Alternatively, if you would like a copy of our catalogues, please send me an email to slimandstylish@live.co.uk or leave me a comment below and I'll get in touch with you. I upload regular content to this channel, so if you do enjoy watching my tutorials, please make sure that you have subscribed and rang the bell to get notifications when new videos go live. Thank you for joining me and have a lovely day.